in, right? Our world got flipped upside down. Everyone on this call has been affected by it in one way or another. There's no way you have not been affected. And I really wanted to share that, I have this business plan, which I did so much training, and I really dove in on my 2020 business plan and came up with this quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily goal that I have on this board here. I brought it out of the office just so I could bring it on the mastermind. Like, I look at this every single day, and a lot of the things on here I couldn't do anymore, right? We had to shift, and we weren't allowed to do open houses and events, which those are two things that are huge for me. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of things that I decided to do differently. So right at the beginning of the year, my goal was to do a monthly women's networking event. And if you follow me on Instagram, I shared so much about it, and it was amazing. And I did it. And then the next month I wasn't allowed to do them anymore. So I decided to pivot and do something different, which was the Zoom calls. So I decided I try to network with everybody, right? We want to meet as many people as possible. So I decided, even my friends, I was like, hey, we can't get together. Everything's completely shut down. Let's catch up and hop on a Zoom call. And I was asking, other business owners if we could get together on a Zoom call, acquaintances, realtors. I was scheduling Zoom calls like crazy. In my mind, that was my way for my networking event, since we couldn't get together anymore. And honestly, it was so great because I saved money and I saved time, because I didn't have to actually, I got somewhat ready. I wore a nice shirt. I might have been wearing sweatpants and they had no idea, but I didn't really have to get fully ready. I didn't have to drive there and back to meet up with anybody. I usually, if I'm inviting somebody to get coffee, a drink, lunch, I usually pay. And so now I was saving money that I wasn't having to pay for that person's drink or their food. So I was like, this is fabulous. And there's a couple of things I'm going to mention that I've decided to implement in my business in the future. It's always been so busy for all of us, right? And there's so many people that reach out to me that want to get together, that want to network, and I want to get together, and I want to get together with them and network, but we're just so busy that now I'm like, let's just get on a Zoom call and chat. That's just as good. So that's definitely something that, had to change in my business, because I wasn't going to let not having these networking events stop me. I'm like, let me get on these Zoom calls. And that's something I'm going to continue to implement in my business in the future.
I definitely agree with that. And there's so much power with, being able to take advantage of technology and, let people know that, one, you're the go-to agent and will make it happen no matter the situation, right? And so when you can convey that, people love it. So if you guys know me, I've always built my business. I built my business and then continued my business with expireds. And so once COVID hit, it's not that I couldn't pick up the phone and call expireds anymore, because believe me, I did and I could. However, I saw an opportunity to reach out to those people that were close to me and just check in. How are you doing? Is your work affected? The kids are obviously affected. How are you guys dealing with this? And so really coming from a place of contribution aside from real estate. Some conversations it was brought up, some it wasn't. And so that's really what I saw as an opportunity to just check on my people. And that was something that I never really dove into. So Sphere and past clients came a strong focus for me, along with social media. My social media has blown up since COVID. And I've gotten more social media engagement leads and just friends just by simply putting out content. If you think about it, we are in front of our social media, internet, emails, we're on the web all day long, especially now with COVID, right? Everybody's working from home, everybody's on their phone, their laptop. And so I felt that it was my duty to put out that value. And it opened up the door for so many conversations to happen that it just blew my mind. I've always been showing up on social media. But now more than ever, conversations have just been, you know, happening, people reaching out to me. And it's such a great feeling when people are like, hey, I saw this, or I heard this, or oh my gosh, you just covered a topic that I had questions all along and I didn't know how to ask it, or I didn't know who to ask. You know, there's so much value in finding opportunity to reach out to your social media people. They follow you for a reason, and don't take that for granted.
Something I want to say about social media. So obviously that's all like my business, right? Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And something that I decided to implement during COVID that now I'm like, oh, I need to be doing this more often. I'm all about engaging. And any masterminds or trainings I've done, I'm like, you have to be social on this platform. It's so much more than just posting. But when it comes to engaging, I just started hitting people up. Hey, how are you doing? How are you doing through this crazy time? And just checking in with people. And it was so amazing, the conversations that I was having. And I was like, dang, why did it take a pandemic for me to
Yeah.
actually reach out to people and just be like, how are you doing? Like, I would engage, but I would try to like resonate with them with something on their profile or see how I could be of value to them. And like, this was so easy. And just to be like, how are you doing? How's things going? That's it. Like, so simple. And, you know, from doing that and realizing like, wow, I should have been doing this all along, that I'm just going to continue doing that in the future. And I think that's something that's all what we can all do. We can message everybody. And that's such a great way to build that relationship. And, you know, those people that I connected with, now I'm reaching back out to them again. And now that here in Florida, like, we're able to go out. I know everybody's situation is a little bit different, but we're able to go out. So now I can be like, hey, now let's grab that coffee that we had talked about on our Zoom call or whatever. You know, I just feel like just simply reaching out to people is such a great way to build up those relationships. A couple of things that I decided to implement during this time, since some things I wasn't able to do anymore, was mailers. So, you know, I just started doing it, so I don't have like something amazing to tell you, like, oh, I got all these listings or anything like that. I will say what I feel like I benefit from was it was great branding for me, because they sent photos of the postcard to the homeowner, because I sent two different neighborhoods. Both of them were listings that I sold. So I sold this house for a certain amount, price per square foot, and I showcased that. And they were like sending the postcard to the seller. Oh, we got your realtor's postcard. People that knew me were texting me like, I just got your postcard. My parents just got your postcard. They sent it to me and were like, don't you know her? So I haven't got any listings from it, but I think with mailers, it's a long game. So I felt like that was a great first run. I had some great engagement from it that I really wasn't expecting. And I'm just going to keep implementing that now in my business, whereas before I wasn't doing that. Also, I love handwritten notes. If you go to my office, I have a million blank cards and I'm just constantly filling them out, but I'm filling them out even more than ever. And they're like so simple now. Like, I'm not even overthinking. I'm like, hey, just wanted to send you a sweet note. I hope you're doing well. Let's catch up sometime. Not over analyzing it. Another thing is that I wanted to share with you is I just ordered a ton of masks with my logo on them from Etsy that you had to order at least 100. So I ordered 100 because I'm like, let me just check out this quality before I like go all in, right? And I just feel like that is going to be such a good branding tool, you guys. It's like perfect. So with the masks, I'm going to just send them to all my past clients, of course, but I'm going to send them to my friends, my family. I'm going to like, everyone take a photo with these masks on and tag me. And it's just such a perfect product to send somebody right now. It's not that expensive. And I mean, here in Florida, everyone has to wear a mask. So I just feel like I'm going to be wearing my own mask. So I just think it's such a good idea. And I wanted to share that with you. Another thing real quick about something that I've been doing different is I just started partnering up with Market Dwellings. I've been promoting them on my social media. I should have brought them out here. Super cute cards to send in the mail. I'm obsessed with the design. It's so cute and simple. I love the lottery card one. So
I like that one too.
I know. I'm like,
So
I'm so excited. So I just mailed like the first batch out to people. So I can't wait to see like them reaching back out to me. It's just something different and not expensive. And I have a promo code with them, and that's sold by Stevie. Their website is marketdwellings.com, I believe. Super cute stuff. If you go to my Instagram, you can see I posted like some more sneak peeks of things that I ordered today. And I'm going to start mailing those out. So I just wanted to share with you those couple things that I have been doing differently in my business. And I honestly think I wouldn't have done these things if COVID didn't happen. And I feel like it's going to actually be better for my business.
I love that. I love that you found opportunity in doing things that you normally would not have done. I also had pivoted and done the same thing. What I really love doing when reaching out to people on social media, especially Instagram, is I went and followed a lot of well-known people like people from Shark Tank, like somebody that I know that posts like a lot of like positive messages and quotes and things. And what I would do is I would click the little airplane to send it to somebody through a private message. And I would send it to them, like people on that follow me, and just say, hey, saw this awesome quote, thought of you, hope you're having a great day. And it just opened up the door for them to just say, oh my gosh, love this. I so needed to hear this today type of messages. And like, how awesome is it when, you don't bring up anything realistic.
Yeah.
And they're just like, how's business? I see you're crushing it. That's like 99% of how the conversation goes from there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so thankful to still be working. I know a lot of people have been affected differently. How are you and your family? So those are how the conversations are going. Also running more Facebook ads. I did one Instagram ad a while back, and it was just okay. I get a lot more organic through Instagram, but Facebook running ads and running video ads. So running them, targeting specific people and that with a video, and then retargeting them with a follow-up video. Yeah. So if it's like the first step of the home buying process, well, I'm going to retarget those same people with the second step to the home buying process, or, talking about the home search or home previews or something like that. The dollar per lead is so incredibly cheap. And how simple is it to just reach out to somebody through instant message on Instagram or on Facebook? Like, it's so simple. You don't even have to call them or anything. They'll eventually just give you your number. You don't have to really take them to a landing page or anything like that. Especially if you do the get messages target. So that's something that I used. Also, during COVID, received my first Yelp lead. Like, I don't know about you guys, like taking advantage of all the different platforms. So it doesn't matter if you're going to just dive in on, two of them, just still stay, engaged with the other ones. So actually got a listing through Yelp. And what was so interesting is the client said, you were the only agent to call me back.
Dang.
So things really do happen like that. You just got to at least be on the platform and be consistent. Mm-hmm. Also, reviews. This has been a big one that we have been strongly targeting, and it is any recent closing and even closings from this year. So having just an email template go out that says, thank you so much for the opportunity to allow me to help your family, allowing me to help you and your family achieve your real estate goals. Something that I'm doing is for every review that you leave for me, I will enter you in for a drawing to win. And the two options are a Yeti cooler and a patio set.
Nice.
And so,
shoot, can I put in a review?
Well, and what's so cool is, so they're given 4 different platforms. And so the goal is husband and wife will tackle it. So that'll be 8 reviews from one closing.
Wow.
Reviews are huge. You guys know reviews are validity. It credits you, gives that sense of credibility, like, know, and trust, and all those things. So that's something that we have been implementing, and dang, people are like, yes, let me leave you a review on all the different platforms. So I went from having 11 reviews to now I have 39, which is incredible.
That's awesome.
Like, I will take that all day.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when, the person that wins and then they get so excited, you shout them out on social media, they shout you out, and it just is a trickle effect from there. So those are a couple of things that I'm using to pivot my business and how I am working and staying in front of people. I have really let up on the cold calls. And I feel that it's probably two things. It's one, now going into my third year in the business, I'm starting to get more repeat and referral business. And then two, just nurturing those people that I've already worked so hard for these last 2 years.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the goal, right? Like you don't plan to do expired listings forever.
Right.
It's your business off the ground and get it going and then build the referral business.
Absolutely. And one of the things COVID has allowed me to do is really take the things from my head, put them onto paper, and get systems in place for the way that I'm structuring these processes. Like my closeout checklist. It doesn't just live in my head anymore. It's actually a system that's in place. Mm-hmm. And what I had actually done was I reached out to a girlfriend and I said, hey, do you know of anybody? She used to be in real estate, got out. I said, do you know of anyone that's looking for, part-time, just simple here and there virtual jobs to help me so that I can leverage some of those pieces out, like putting those systems in place. And I have a girl that I hired that is just crushing it. It's so funny to I'm like, hey, can you help me, keep track of my closings and my production, right? Like, I'm not good at that. So can you remind me every single Monday of how many closings did I have? Who were they? What's their name, email, address, all of those things. And then the property address so that she could put them into my database. She could put them into my production spreadsheet. She could put them into, I use AM cards and I schedule a 1-year card of the picture that we took at closing or whatever. So just different things like that. And it's allowed me to put together systems. There's a process to every single thing that I do. And for $15 an hour, this girl just exceeds my expectations. I'm like, dang, look at you. You made that so nice and beautiful. A spreadsheet that does not bring me joy. I don't want to create that. And yet she just rolls with it and rocks it. So I am very grateful for COVID to allow me to take a step back, put some systems in place, and leverage some of these pieces out. Because that $100 that I spend a week to have her doing some of those things, I would still be working on some of them.
Yeah. So I thought that we could talk about routine a little bit because I bet everyone's routine got a little shifted through this time, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I realize so much how much I rely on routine after this whole process because I am that real estate agent that has to go to the office, or I thought I had to, every single day. I just started out that way in the business. I was always in the office. If I didn't have appointments, that was a goal in my mind was I had to be, if I wasn't doing showings, a listing appointment, or meeting with somebody, I was going to be in the office until at least 5. And I was going to be making calls, emails, social media, all those things. And then I kind of just really built this habit, and it really brought structure into my life, making that part of my routine. And I've always made it a huge deal with brokerages that I'm at. I need to have my own office. I'm not working from home because I would just get distracted. I'm not getting things done. I'm not as motivated. I'm going to nap. I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to do XYZ, go shopping, whatever. And I just feel when things happen with COVID and we weren't allowed to go to the office anymore, I'm sure everybody's life got flipped upside down in one way or another with their routine, especially if you have kids. And I can't even honestly imagine. I can't even imagine it. But that first week, I don't know if you remember, but I was a hot freaking mess. I was such a mess. And I was just like, I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, okay, it's because I realized how much I rely on this routine. So I wanted to share with you like legitimate things that I had to like tell myself and how to snap myself out of it and just build my own routine. And I just feel like we're going to always have events in our life that are just going to switch things up on us. And things are going to change and we have to adapt to them. And so, I spent a whole month like not working at the office. I was like, you know what? I've got to structure my day as if I was going out and doing appointments. So I'm going to get up at the same time that I would normally get up and get ready as if I am going to go to work. So, but still doing that workout, still doing that journaling, drinking my coffee just like normal, like not sleeping in, getting ready as if I'm going to work. And I started just time blocking my day. I printed out this sheet where I was time blocking every 30 minutes and I was filling it with follow-ups and working on my transactions, but I was also plugging in like those Zoom calls and I was plugging in just like simple things like, okay, gotta eat lunch, gotta go on this walk or, small things just so honestly I felt like I was tackling and it was just so unbelievably helpful. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like we all kind of struggle sometimes with routine and feeling motivated and getting things done, and especially having my environment change on me was such a struggle. But now that we are allowed to go back in the office, I'm moving my office actually to my house now because I'm like, okay, I've been working from home now for 2 months. Like I can actually do this. And it's actually better because I'm going to save money because I'm not going to be paying for an office. And I'm going to be saving time, not driving to and from the office. And time is money. So I'm just going to do the things that I learned during the past 2 months and keep implementing them now in my business. So I just wanted to share that because I thought like maybe it would be helpful for someone.
Yeah, for sure. And what's so funny is, Stevie and I, because obviously we talk outside of Instagram, I mean, we talk very often. And when this first came to be a thing, Stevie was freaking out. She was like,
oh yes. I was like, oh, this is going to be 6 months. We're not going to have any business.
Yes, it was. And it was kind of, I was like, no, girl, this is only going to be like a month long. Well, what's funny about that is here we are 6 months later, and yet our businesses are still thriving more than ever. Right. So yeah, it's just funny because I remember the conversation.
I was getting really nervous because other states were shutting down and businesses were shutting down. And I just felt as though I had to give myself a pep talk again. I'm always giving myself pep talks. And it was basically that because I was taking a lot of listings. Like part of my business, most of my business is listings. And I'm spending a lot of money on these listings. So I was like spending all this money while I felt like the world was crashing. And I was like, is this going to be a huge mistake, me doing this? And I was getting buyers under contract. And I just felt like other states were shutting down and they weren't even able to close. So I was like, what am I doing? Why am I going to keep going on the next step if I'm not even going to get them to close? And I just felt like at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? There's only so much I can control. So I'm just going to go about my days with what I can control. And I'm going to get these people to the next step. I'm going to do my job as the realtor and I'm going to take these listings. I mean, even my own mom was like, I can't even believe that you're taking these listings right now, like during this time. And I was like, but that's what happened. I sold them all.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, and one of the things that I would always tell people when they say like, is this a good time to buy? Is this a good time to sell? I'm like, do you think a real estate agent who knows a thing or two about real estate would be buying a home if it wasn't a great time to buy a home? Yeah.
Very true.
I say it all the time, and I'm over here like we're still in a great market. We got this house for 2.75% interest rate. Like if I would wait a year, here's the risk on doing that. And it's really, I feel it comes down to if you don't have your scripts known, if you're not practicing them daily, if you're not hopping on with either somebody that's at the same level of production as you or a little bit more. If you guys know me, you know I'm a big, big advocate of scripts, because you have to have direction in what you say. You have to know how to control the conversation. And if you don't know why is it a good time to buy? Why is it a good time to sell? And having these real conversations, then quite frankly, you should be sitting on the sidelines, right? Mm-hmm. So I would highly encourage you, if you don't know any of those things and if you can't confidently say them, get somebody, write them down, bullet point it out, role play it with somebody, because there's business to be gotten out there. And if you don't know what to do or say, somebody else is going to beat you to it. And I say that lovingly, you know that.
But I mean, there's just so many realtors out there. It's extremely competitive for us. And, the odds are totally against us succeeding. So I just feel like that should just fire you up to want to work even harder. It did for me. So let's wrap things up. I wanted to share the thing, talk about goals. And I'm going to share with you guys what I'm focusing on for the rest of the year. And maybe it'll be, you'll want to take one or two things from this. Of course, social media, because it's just my moneymaker. So continuously showing up like normal on my Instagram stories, doing videos. I've been trying to build up my YouTube channel, so I'm just going to keep that going. Sending out these cards with market dwellings. I'm going to keep doing the mailers like I've talked about earlier, handwritten notes. We're allowed to do open houses now. So I'm going to start implementing open houses again in my business, coffee meetups. I've been really slacking on my weekly email. I made that a goal, and I totally have been slacking the last 2 months. So I have stepped it up this week, and we restarted it again. And so every week I send my database an email, a video email, just touching base, buyer, seller tips, all those things, talking about the real estate market, or just simply checking in. It's nothing crazy. And then sending those messages through Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, just checking in with people and seeing how they're doing. It's something so simple that I'm excited to implement that, even though, for some people, things aren't back to normal. So,
right. Yeah, we're also hosting open houses as well. And so it's been I haven't hosted them, but you guys know me. Open houses really aren't my jam anyways. But open house last week on one of my listings, 10 families through.
Nice.
That's amazing. So people are still going through them, and people it's just, of course, I kind of feel like we've all accepted that this is our new, right? Mm-hmm. So we're just rolling with it and making it happen. So I'm also implementing social media, YouTube, the direct messages, running Facebook video ads. That's working. Consistently posting on all the different platforms. Also, one thing that I've been recently doing, and this has been huge, is I got together with a lender. And the first Friday of every month, we host free coffee from 8 to 10 at a local coffee shop. We've been doing it twice now, and we've gotten 2 leads off of it. I mean, the first definitely paid for coffee, right?
Yeah.
The tab is $200 or something like that. Super minimal.
Yeah.
We get to meet and connect with the local community, business owners. And so we get to support our local businesses. So that's been something that I have recently implemented. It's kind of like an event, first Friday of every month. And it's been a big hit the last 2 months. We just said, you know what, let's try it for 3 consecutive months, and then we'll circle up and see if we want to continue to do it. And so far it's been a really big hit, and it's different. It's fun. A lot of people, they're going to just local places if they're going out. And so it's just a great way to connect and just have that human interaction. And then the reviews, I am definitely making sure that we hit reviews still, because it's keeping me at the forefront of my client's mind. And then when they go and leave a review, it's also an opportunity for me to reach back out to them. It's definitely a great way to build your business and